Hello everyone, this is Statler,
And I'm Waldorf.
and today we're going to discuss the path of lust.
Lust. And I've got
Lust.
disease up on the screen, don't I?
The
Ha! Awesome. There we go. The path of lust, as
Lust.
you said.
lust. A lust for the word path.
Yes. Path. You're good at the path thing. I can't
Yes.
get past the lore.
Yes.
All right. So what do we
Did you
got?
say Lord?
Yes. I did, apparently.
Oh, this is a path that's available to different chaos armies. I'm actually not sure if they've expanded it to the Dread Elves. I don't think it's there, but I don't remember, to be perfectly honest.
I don't remember
Yeah,
seeing it
but
there.
definitely the two chaos armies, the chaotic armies. Path attribute, masochism, of course.
All right.
The range 12, augment, focus, last one turn. Target either gains +1 attack and +3 initiative, or armor piercing +1. Choose which when casting the spell. Every model can only be affected once by each effect.
Okay, so you can give the guy +1 attack and +3 initiative, and then later hit him with the armor piercing.
Correct.
Okay. Nice.
So it's
It's focused, so it's only one model.
yes.
It's only one guy.
So it's one of the few that that does stacks, and it is focused.
And the armor piercing is +1, not armor piercing
Correct.
1.
Correct.
So both those are good conditions. I think this is a decent lore attribute.
It's a decent lore attribute.
attribute.
If you look at the lust marked models, especially in demons, they don't tend to have high strength, so the armor piercing can be quite important. You have lower strength often, so you have +1 attack. We get to the warriors; it's a whole different can of worms.
Yes.
Or if you start cross boosting units, yeah.
Correct. All right. The default spell 0 is the Wicked Lash.
Wicked.
Very wicked. It's cast on a 6, though. It's got a range 24, ground, direct, and it's a line template. Instant. So it's a 24-inch line from the caster. Each model under the template suffers 1 strength 4 hit with armor piercing 2. I like this a lot. Because it's a fireball that has a, it's the normal magic missile thing, but it's no longer a random number of hits. You know when you cast it how many hits you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm neither here nor there on the line template attacks. If you can line up the right things, that's great. But that means you tend to either have to be on a flank, or it has to be against deeper units to make it worthwhile. A lot of times, it's not going to help against chaff, which is
This one definitely is not as good against chaff.
yeah.
Because they're usually not going
Which
to
magic missiles tend to be.
conga line them for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That brings us to the mesmeric allure. 5 the cast, 11 in the boosted version, range 24, range 36 boosted. It's a hex, last one turn. Target strikes at initiative 0 and gains random movement D6. Wow.
This is really good. For
So-
5?
Well, 5 is just the initiative 0, which is good.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Well,
It
5
means,
is really good.
because you already tend to have higher initiative, and you're often striking first, though, with the
With the
various chaos troops most of the time. Not everything, but most of the time.
yes.
So I don't know if that's always such a big deal. I guess it helps if you're maybe stomps or things of that nature. Or if you happen to have guys with great weapons.
Right.
But the random movement, yes, it's an 11. It's a big casting value.
That's really
But
good.
with D6, you're going 1 to 6 inches. It's basically like you're stupid.
And that gives you a range of 36 with that one too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're hitting things that are really
Right.
far away and keeping them really far away.
So that can really that can mess somebody up. Well, they could get a boost.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to choose that unit.
Yeah. It's nice. Anything that can mess with somebody's ability to maneuver.
Right.
You put it on a unit you don't want to fight for a while, and you can really mess up with them.
Yeah.
It is hard to get off. So
It is, but if they're 7 inches away, you hit something and it's not going to be able to charge you.
Yep.
I mean, it just completely shuts it down.
Right.
So that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Spell 2 is the Irresistible Waltz. Cast on a 7, boosted.
Irresistible Waltz.
The Irresistible Waltz.
I see.
Correct. Like I said, cast on a 7, boost to 11. It's got a 12-inch range. That'll boost up to 24. It's a focused hex direct damage. Instant. Target must take a leadership test using an additional die, d6, which normally means 3d6. If the test is passed, nothing happens. If the test is failed, the target suffers 1 wound with armor piercing 6 and must take another leadership test using the same rules. Keep testing until the target successfully passes a leadership test or is destroyed. Wow. That's really good. The 12-inch range limits it somewhat.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be able to destroy a piece of chaff a turn.
I've been more worried about the killing mages.
Well, it's focused. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. But the mage is going to be in the bubble, probably. Right?
3d6 doesn't really
But
matter.
still 3d6. Yeah, that's a good point. This is a nice spell. I like this a lot. Cast
Nice
on a
spell.
7. Even at 24 inches, it's 11.
Which is a hefty casting value, which it should be for that range, for what it can potentially mess up.
For what it can potentially do.
And then it keeps going until you fail.
Again, this is another one of those potential scares you
Yes.
sometimes more than the actuality of the spell.
And if you have a, low to moderate, which I guess these days is 9, the leadership army.
Yeah, it is.
There's you're just above 50% that you're going to get a wound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point. And it's only 1 wound. It's not how many you
Right.
lose by, which is different from the others. And you still do get your saves, right? Yeah, suffers
Yes.
1 wound.
Well, armor piercing.
Yes, but I mean you still get your wards or
Yeah, you still
regeneration.
get rewards of regen. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a decent spell.
It's a nice,
not-
it's a nice sniping spell. It's expensive at long range and cheap at. I mean, when you get in close, which you're once again, if you're playing with these armies, who are all about fighting close in,
Correct.
and the mages can fight. Throw in a 7, it can be very helpful.
It could be.
Yeah.
You catch a war machine that's out of the, within 24 and out of the
Right.
general's bubble,
Exactly.
and you've got a good chance of destroying
Hmm.
it.
And there's a lot of monsters that have. Some have very high leadership, but there's a number of them that have some nominal leadership that you can
Nominal,
mess
correct.
with. Yeah. You
Yep.
might be able to stack some wounds on for only if you're close enough to them.
All right.
Brings us to frenzied hysteria. Is there any other kind of hysteria?
Frenzied hysteria.
Yes.
This is even worse.
I guess so. Casting value is 8. Range is 24. It's universal. Remains in play. Target gains frenzy. If target already has frenzy, then it gains +1 attack until it loses frenzy. At the end of each of the caster's magic phases, the target suffers d6 strength 3 hits.
Oh.
Oh?
Oh.
Okay.
I like this spell. It's got the less of a bite to it as the other one we looked at.
Yes.
The one in Ruin, which did d6 strength 4
Correct.
hits.
And it's nice that
And
it remains in play.
And you can cast it on your enemy, your
Yes.
opponent, which I like.
Yes. If you want to go chasing them off to nowhere.
Yeah, he comes in, has to hit you and overrun something.
Yep, and all of a sudden you have a nice flank to go slam
Of course,
into.
you got to be careful with that, is because you cast it on him. I guess you'd cast it on him. You cast it on him in your turn. He charges in his turn. He dispels it in his magic phase before the combat. Now he doesn't have to overrun
That's true.
because it remains in play.
Right.
But forces him to do that.
Yes. And use of the dice, which with 8.
But the fact that being universal gives it a couple ways to play with it. So I kind of like this.
I like anything any of the universals are quite nice because it just gives you options.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Nice spell.
8's not a low casting value.
It's not, but 3 dice will get that almost
But you need the 3 dice it basically.
very regularly.
You probably should 4 dice it if you wanted to go off.
2 dice and a +2 is an average of 9. So 3 dice
Correct.
brings
That's
that
why
up
it's an
very
average.
high probability.
It's close, but
No, I'm saying with 2. So you bring it up to 3 and you probably got, a 70-75% chance
yeah,
of it
that's,
going?
that's what I'm saying. If you want to have a good
Yeah.
chance of getting it off, you want to get to like a 5. See?
Well, that gives us to the lurid delusions.
Lurid.
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 Lurid. Anyway, it casts on an 8. You can boost it to a 12. Range is 24. Oh, God. It's got a 12-inch aura.
Uh,
And it's a hex. It lasts 1 turn.
wait, it's instant.
Instant. Did I miss instant? Where does it say instant? There's no instant on there. It lasts 1 turn. You're on the wrong spell.
so-
We're on the lurid delusions.
I'm at last 1 turn.
You're having a lurid delusion at the
I
moment.
was having a
You've slipped
delusion. That
down.
was lurid, but it was it's because there's just too much lust.
Last 1 turn. Whenever the target takes a leadership test, it rolls an additional dice and discards the lowest.
An additional dice die and discards the lowest. Yes.
Cast an 8. Last 1 turn. I like this.
This is very nice.
Roll additional die and discard the lowest. This is good. I like this. Good spell.
This is very nice.
Decent range. You can bubble it if you need to, but I don't really see that need coming up a lot, but it's there. The range 24, cast on 8. Good spell.
Yeah, I mean, you get your guys into combat, and now your opponent's taking those tests, and
Yeah.
it's quite scary.
Yeah, even being steadfast, throwing away the low.
Yep.
That's nice. I like this a lot. Good
It's
spell.
I think it's a very nice spell. Yep. Brings us to the Mind Reaping, number 5.
All right.
It's a 9 to cast.
Very interesting names in this path.
Yes, because they're very lustful. Range is 24. It's a hex. It's a missile. It's a damage. And look, it's instant.
There you go. There's your instant.
There's my instant. Target takes D6 strength 4 hits with armor piercing 1. After hits are resolved, the target must pass a leadership test with no rerolls allowed or suffer an additional D6 hits. Keep testing until the target successfully passes the leadership test or is destroyed. This
It's a 9.
is an anti-chaff spells to
Yeah.
me, just because if you're in the bubble, you're probably going to pass the leadership test because it's straight up.
Correct.
And whereas strength 4 armor piercing basically nullifies most chaff's armor if they have any. They may end up with a 6, but
Now, where this could possibly shine is combined with that one above it, the lurid delusions, where you're making him test on 3 dice.
Sure.
If you can manage to get both off in a phase.
With a decent number of magic dice, you might, if they don't stop anything, of course.
Correct.
It's probably, because of the casting value, it's probably unlikely that you'd get both of them off.
Right.
I think it's just another way of doing a magic missile. Once again, it's one of these, do I let it go? It may just be 6, or I may end
Correct.
up with 3d6,
Yes.
And against certain opponents that don't have good leadership, and I say chaff because quite often they're outside the bubbles, at least
Yes.
early on or on the flanks.
Mhm.
They make better targets.
Yeah.
And they're smaller units and don't have a lot of armor. And strength 4 is usually only toughness 3 or 4 anyway. So
Correct. Most chaff is fairly light.
yeah, and no one wants 2d6. So it's similar. I'd probably prefer just a 2d6 magic missile myself, but I think it's fine.
Which brings us to the deafening cacophony.
Cacophony.
Cacophony. Cast on a 13, range is 12, and it's a hex. It's instant, lasts 1 turn. Is it instant, or does it last 1 turn? Target instantly suffers 2d6 hits with armor piercing 6 that wound on a 4-up. If one or more wounds are made with these hits, the target strikes at initiative 0 and gains random movement d6. Oh, this is kind of what the other spell up earlier did. In addition to doing 2d6 armor piercing 6
Right,
hits.
it's kind of a combination.
That wound on a 4-up. This is actually pretty good. 2d6 strength 4 hit. I mean, you can hit that steel tank with it.
Yes.
They're all wounding on 4-ups.
Yes.
And you get 1. This is kind of nice. As far as an uber spell that's going to destroy a unit, it's not there. It's the one to really hammer a unit. I don't see that on this.
This isn't against units. This is really, I think, shines against
Monsters.
chariots and monsters and monstrous mount types of things that you don't tend to have good armor saves, and may or may not have a ward save, and have
Right.
high and maybe high toughness.
High toughness stuff.
Yeah.
Where you get that wounding. Yeah.
Right.
But overall, nice spell.
Right, and if you're going with like the lust demons who don't have a lot of strength, then something like this is really helpful. If you put it on the warriors though, or on the other guys, it's probably not as needed. It's a decent spell. 13 is a big casting value.
13's a big casting though.
The
I mean, you're 5 dicing this to
Yeah.
reliably get it.
exactly the bright side is it's 2d6. It's not like the spear in the wilderness, where it's 1d6. The
Well, the big thing about
high
this is
strength.
it doesn't matter what the toughness is. You're wounding on 4s.
Right. Well, that goes both ways against low toughness.
It's low
stuff.
toughness stuff.
But
yeah,
it's a
correct.
2d6. But 13, that's in the random movement, of course. If it's
And the range is only 12, which is the bad
if
thing.
it's one of these monster things, you don't kill it, then it's only going 6 inches
Correct.
at best.
Yeah.
So maybe you're keeping it away from you.
You're keeping it off you for another turn, it seems like.
So and it's one of those ones that actually I think it's kind of one of those ones that doesn't sound like much. Maybe when you might let it go through. That's when you first hear it.
You're right.
If you don't used to it, and then
Well,
it
if you're not
hits you
paying
and-
attention to that random move thing at the
yeah,
end.
then you
it's-
realize what's really happening to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
You let
Then
it go
it's
through
too
once
late.
and then not again.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for number 6 spell.
Yes.
Looking back through this, again, a couple lower castings, a couple mediums, and one high one at the end, right?
Yeah. A lot of it's
8, 9, I consider medium.
yeah. If you don't boost, it's got a lot of medium and a few low. You can get a good number of spells out of this.
And I kind of liked most of these spells. I don't think there's anything in here I didn't like.
Yeah, they're kind of sneaky to a degree. They're not the obvious, oh, I need to have that spell kind of thing.
Right.
But then you look at them, and a number of them are somewhat situational based on your matchups, etc.
Yeah.
But I like this lore.
Well, I think this number 1 spell is incredible. The cast on a 5. That's nice. Strikes at initiative 0 at 5. That's really good.
Yeah, no, I like that spell.
But
a
like you
lot.
said, though, this
And then,
is a...
and then I like the one about the 3d6, the number 2 spells.
Yeah.
So I think that's it's potentially game winning.
All right, so Waldorf, I'm going to say thumbs up to this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a thumbs up also.
All right, that's the Path of Lust, and that'll do it for us for now. Thank you.